Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Native Echo Podcast, where we make English simple and enjoyable. I'm Harper, and today it's just me. No Julian, no back and forth, just you and me. And a topic that I think almost every single person listening right now has felt at some point. Maybe even this week, maybe even today. We are talking about fear and anxiety. And before you think, oh, this is going to be heavy or uncomfortable, I promise you it's not. We are going to talk about this the way I talk about everything on this podcast honestly, simply, and with a few personal stories that might make you feel a little less alone. So, let me start with something that happened to me not too long ago. I had to speak in front of a group of people. Not a huge crowd, maybe 15 or 20 people. A small meeting, actually. And I knew what I wanted to say. I had prepared, I had notes, everything was ready. But the night before, I could not sleep. I kept running through every possible thing that could go wrong. What if I forget what I wanted to say? What if my voice shakes? What if someone asks me a question and I just stand there with my mouth open like a confused fish? And the funny thing is, the next day, it was fine. It went completely fine. Nobody laughed at me. Nobody walked out. I said what I needed to say, and life continued. But those hours the night before, they felt terrible. My heart was beating fast. My stomach felt tight. My thoughts were going in circles, and I could not make them stop. That feeling, that is anxiety. And I think a lot of people confuse fear and anxiety. So let me explain the difference. Because once you understand it, a lot of things start to make more sense. Fear is a reaction to something real and present. Something is actually happening right now that your body responds to. You are walking down a dark street and someone starts following you. That is fear. Your dog suddenly runs into traffic. That is fear. A car horn blares right next to you. That is fear. Fear is immediate. It is here. It is now. It is your body saying, "This is happening. Pay attention." Anxiety is different. Anxiety is mostly about things that have not happened yet. It is your brain jumping into the future and imagining all the ways something could go wrong. It is the what ifs. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if something bad happens? What if I say the wrong thing? The event is not here yet, but your body is already reacting as if it is. And here is the strange part. Your body cannot always tell the difference between something real and something imagined. When you have anxious thoughts, your heart rate goes up, your breathing gets shorter, your muscles get tense, your palms sweat, your stomach tightens. All the same physical feelings as real fear, but nothing has actually happened yet. You are basically scaring yourself with your own imagination, which, when you think about it, is both impressive and absolutely exhausting. I want to talk about some of the most common fears people have, because I think when we hear other people's fears out loud, it is easier to accept our own. And actually, I think most fears are more universal than we realize. Most of us are afraid of the same things. We just do not talk about it enough. One of the most common fears is the fear of what other people think, the fear of being judged. This one is so widespread and so quietly painful. You're at a dinner with new people, and you say something, and the table goes quiet for just 1 second, and your brain immediately goes, "They think I am strange. They don't like me. Why did I say that?" You replay the moment. You analyze every facial expression. You lie awake thinking about one sentence you said 3 hours ago. I have done this so many times. And the worst part is I know logically that most people are not thinking about me. Most people are too busy worrying about what other people think of them. We are all, in a way, standing in a room worrying about everyone else, while everyone else is worrying about us. It is almost funny. Almost. Another very common fear is the fear of failure. This one is deep. This one stops people from trying things they actually want to do. I have a friend who has wanted to start her own small business for years. She talks about it, she has ideas, She even has a name picked out, but she has not started. Because what if it fails? What if she puts everything into it and it does not work? The fear of failing feels so much bigger than the possibility of succeeding. And so she waits, and the idea stays an idea. I think the fear of failure is so powerful because we tie it to our identity. It is not just, what if this project fails? It becomes, what if I am a failure? We make it personal. We make it about who we are, not just about one thing we tried. And then there is the fear of change. This one is interesting because change is actually neutral. Change is just things being different than before. But our brains do not like uncertainty. Our brains like to know what is coming next. So even when our current situation is not great, even when we know something needs to change, the idea of the unknown future feels scarier than the uncomfortable present. I remember when I had to move to a new city a few years ago. I knew it was a good decision. I had reasons, I had a plan, but the anxiety before the move was almost paralyzing. What if I do not make friends? What if I feel lonely? What if I hate it? What if I regret it? I almost did not go. And when I finally did go, it was hard at first. But then it was fine. And then it was actually good. And then I was glad I went. But the fear before it happened was almost worse than anything I actually experienced. And this is something I want you to sit with for a moment, because I think it is one of the most important things about anxiety. Most of the things we fear do not happen the way we imagine them. And even when difficult things do happen, we are usually better at handling them than we expected. We are more capable than our anxious brain gives us credit for. Our anxious brain tends to overestimate the danger and underestimate our ability to cope. To cope means to manage a difficult situation, to get through it, to handle it. And we are almost always better at coping than we think we will be. So, why do we feel this way? Why does anxiety exist at all? Because, honestly, it sounds like nothing but a problem. But here's the thing: anxiety and fear, in their original form, are actually protective. They exist for a reason. Thousands of years ago, when humans lived in much more dangerous environments, fear was essential. It kept people alive. If you heard a strange sound in the forest, your body immediately went into alert mode. Your heart pumped faster to send blood to your muscles. Your breathing got quicker to take in more oxygen. Your senses sharpened. Your body was ready to run or to fight. This is called the fight or flight response. Fight or flight. Either you face the danger or you run from it. And it is an incredible system. It is fast, it is powerful, and in real danger, it absolutely saves lives. The problem is, our modern lives do not have that many actual physical dangers. We are not running from wild animals. But our bodies still have the same alarm system. And now it goes off for job interviews and awkward conversations and emails that have not been replied to. The alarm is the same. The situation is very different. So what do we do with all of this? I want to share a few things that have genuinely helped me, because I do not want this to be a conversation that just describes the problem and then leaves you there. I want it to be actually useful. The first thing is something called naming it. When you are feeling anxious, just say it, out loud if you can, or in your head. I am feeling anxious right now. I am scared about this. I am worried about what might happen. It sounds so simple that it almost seems too easy to work, but there is actually something real happening when you name a feeling. Your brain shifts from the emotional part to the thinking part. You go from being inside the feeling to looking at it from a slight distance. You become the person observing the anxiety instead of just being the anxiety. And that small shift makes a real difference. The second thing is questioning the story your brain is telling you. When you're anxious, your brain is telling you a story about the future. It's and that story is almost always the worst case scenario. So it helps to ask, is this definitely true? What is the actual evidence for this? What is another way this could go? What is the most likely outcome, not the worst one? For example, before my presentation, my brain said, "You are going to forget everything, and everyone is going to think you are incompetent." But is that definitely true? No. What is the evidence? I prepared, I know the material. Has this ever happened before? No. What is more likely? I will be a little nervous at the start, and then it will get easier. When you question the story loses some of its power. The third thing is breathing. And I know this sounds like the most generic advice in the world. Just breathe. Thank you. Very helpful. But the reason people say it is because it actually works. And here's why. When you are anxious, your breathing becomes shallow and fast. And shallow, fast breathing actually keeps your body in alert mode. It signals to your nervous system that something is wrong. But when you breathe slowly and deeply, you are sending your body the opposite signal. You are saying, "We are okay." You are physically interrupting the anxiety response. Try breathing in for 4 counts, holding for 4 counts, and breathing out for 4 counts. Just a few times. It will not fix everything, but it will bring you back into your body and out of your head, just a little. And sometimes, a little is exactly what you need. The fourth thing is doing it anyway. This one is the hardest, but it is also the most effective. The more you avoid things that make you anxious, the bigger and scarier they become. Avoidance gives anxiety power. But when you do the thing, even imperfectly, even with a shaky voice or sweaty hands, you send your brain a very important message. You did this. You were scared, and you did it anyway. And you survived. And your brain files that away. And the next time is slightly less terrifying. And the time after that is slightly less again. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and choosing to act anyway. I also want to say something about anxiety that I think is important and often gets left out. There is a difference between everyday anxiety, the kind we all feel sometimes, and anxiety that significantly interferes with your life. If you are finding that anxiety is stopping you from doing basic things, from leaving the house, from maintaining relationships, from functioning at work, that is worth talking to someone about. A doctor, a therapist, someone you trust. There is no shame in that. Anxiety at that level is not a character flaw, and it is not something you just push through alone. Asking for help is one of the most courageous things a person can do. But for the everyday fear, the regular worry, the 2 a.m. thoughts, the what ifs, and the stomach flips before something important, those are part of being human. Everyone has them. Even the people who look calm, even the people who seem confident, even the people you look at and think, they definitely have it all together. They have fear too. They just feel it quietly. And here is what I have come to believe about fear and anxiety after a lot of years of having both. They are not the enemy. They are not signs that something is broken in you. They are signs that you care. You are anxious about the presentation because the work matters to you. You are scared of failure because you actually want something. You are nervous about the relationship because the person is important to you. Fear follows love. It follows desire. It follows ambition. You only feel afraid of losing things that mean something to you. So the next time you feel anxious, instead of immediately trying to make it stop, try asking, what does this tell me about what I value? What am I protecting? What do I care about so much that the thought of losing it makes me nervous? And then take a breath. Name the feeling, question the story, and take one small step forward. Because the thing you are afraid of almost never turns out to be as terrible as you imagined. And even when hard things happen, you are more capable of handling them than you know. You really are. Okay, before I let you go, let me do a quick recap of the most important words from today. Fear. Fear is a reaction to something real and present. Something is actually happening right now, and your body responds to it. Anxiety. Anxiety is mostly about things that have not happened yet. It is your brain jumping into the future and creating what-if scenarios. Fight or flight. This is the body's automatic response to danger. It prepares you to either face something or run from it. Cope. To cope means to manage a difficult situation, to get through it without being completely overwhelmed by it. Avoidance. Avoidance means staying away from things that make you anxious. It feels safe in the short term, but it actually makes anxiety stronger over time. I hope this episode felt useful, and I hope it felt honest, because that is always my goal here at Native Echo Podcast. Not perfect English, not perfect life lessons, just real conversations that help you grow a little, in English and maybe in other ways too. If this episode helped you in any way, please subscribe to Native Echo Podcast and give it a like. It genuinely helps us reach more people who need this kind of content. And tell me in the comments, what is one small fear you have been carrying around lately? You do not have to share the big ones, just one small one. Write it in English. Even 2 or 3 words is enough. Because naming it out loud, even in a comment, is the first step. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.